Okay, cool.
Right, so we've been here before. About 40-second delay or something like that between us going live on StreamYard and this coming onto LinkedIn. So let me check. It says starting soon. For anybody that wonders what on earth we're doing, we're just double checking. Okay, we're live. I can see. Right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining Stephen and I to talk about poetry and some of the great new updates that we've made recently. We've been working extremely hard to bring hiring enablement to a talent acquisition team near you. I'm Adam Gordon. If we haven't met, I've been in recruiting since the late 1900s. And I've been building businesses in this space since 2009 because I wasn't a very good employee. Stephen, quick intro.
Yep, my name's Stephen McGrath. I'm the Product Experience Manager. Unlike Adam, I am a wonderful employee. So I am a good man to have to do a little bit of everything inside poetry, but really just focusing on the customer experience first and foremost, making sure that we get feedback from customers and turn that into real actionable roadmap.
Stephen, I love the way that you've been allowed to work on poetry from your prison cell today.
I'm in a hotel room, yes. So
right.
I've travelled to watch Scotland play Ivory Coast, so I'm in Liverpool just now.
Okay. Good. Right. So for those of you who don't know what poetry is, I'm going to do 5 minutes of background explanation. I'm going to share my screen, show you what it does, and then I'm going to hand over to Stephen to show you some of the brilliant new updates that are rolling out to our customers now, or that have rolled out to our customers now. And so if you've got any comments or questions, please put them into the comments section on LinkedIn. There is about a 40-second delay between where we are and onto LinkedIn. So we'll get the comments coming through where we are on StreamYard, and we will answer any, respond to any comments or answer any questions that you have. So when I had the idea for poetry, it was because it occurred to me that recruiters need a wealth of different assets to complete their tasks. And that includes talent intelligence, talent sourcing assets, recruitment marketing content, operational recruitment materials, policies, processes, competitor information. And gathering all of that takes recruiters a lot of time every single day. We did some study with the Talent Labs who told us from a survey and some research that they did for us that it's taking recruiters many hours every day to complete their tasks, which are not focused on working with candidates and working with hiring managers and doing the actual recruiting job, because there's so many other things that they have to do. So we decided to build poetry as an asset library, as a highly AI supercharged asset library, where it's really easy and highly automated process for recruiters to receive everything they need within seconds of their job going live on the applicant tracking system. Nobody else has really focused on this intensively like we have. And so we've developed solutions for things like Boolean strings, outreach messaging, job adverts, job descriptions, social media posts, competitor analysis, and more. I'll show you this in a minute. We're trying to solve for two real things. Number one, to save time in the process of gathering these assets, making sure they're on brand and in context and right first time, so that recruiters can be more productive and successful. And then the second thing is to ensure complete consistency, so that everything a recruiter produces in poetry is faithful to the employer brand. It uses the same templates, whether that's in Germany or in the USA, whether that's for engineering or it's for sales hiring. Everything is at the click of a button, using the right templates, the right tone of voice, and the right context about your company. Unlike going on to ChatGPT and typing, give me a job advert for a phlebotomist, and then getting back, I don't think people hire those, but, and then getting back something and going, this is not right at all. And then having to spend 10 minutes chatting to Copilot or whatever you use to get the thing that's right for your purposes. It's all baked in, so it's like right first time. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and just take you through a short product demo. As if I was a recruiter with Wipro, the consultancy firm. Okay, so when I log in, I'm on the desktop, and on the desktop, I've got all the different tiles which take me into the solutions that I need to complete my tasks. So that's preparing the role, my kickoff meeting, my talent research. Whether it's I've started working on the role, I'm doing sourcing, so I need to find candidates using our Boolean builder, reach out to them with social media messaging, and have those first stage conversations using the conversation guides as sort of templates. You're doing other forms of talent marketing, such as if you've got a campaign, you might do brand adverts, an email campaign, you might need landing page copy, you might want colleague stories to feature in that. Or if you're an individual recruiter and you want to post on social media, or you want to develop job adverts, does all of this using your templates, your employer brand, your hiring guidelines, etc. And then I'm in the recruiting phase now. So I've got my candidate interview questions, I've got the job description, which I can share with the hiring manager, objection handling responses for those people that think we don't pay enough or think that our company's unethical or whatever it might be, and skills-based hiring. That tells me what are the other jobs with an overlap in the skills needed, and allows you to have an intelligent conversation with hiring managers. We've also got this knowledge base down at the bottom, which is a catch-all for some of the libraries for really important content, like here's how we do different things in our team. So here's how we do advertising and assessment and CRM. I click through the learning cards and I can access the decks and videos and whatever associated with those. I've got my processes, policies, my competitor intelligence, and my library for building business cases. Okay, 90% of the usage in here is what we call the playbook. So you could either come into Poetry, click on playbooks and build your playbook, which orchestrates the development of all the assets I need to work on a role. Or you can connect Poetry to your applicant tracking system, and when you set up your rec, that'll send in a signal to Poetry. It'll build that playbook, and it'll ensure that everything is as you expect. Send it straight to you as a recruiter on email. In terms of the things that we can do to set this up to make the workspace really very much our own, in the admin area, you've got all these things around like what's your career site, what's your EVP, where do logos go on images. You've got all this company info questionnaire, which is about further context about your company. You can upload all your employer brand guidelines and hiring guidelines, and Poetry takes all that into account. You set up the structure for all your different teams and job titles and locations in this area. And then a bit further down, I can go much more granular. So I can go into the templates area and templates for things like job adverts. As an example, my template for job adverts or my template for anything in the USA is going to be for US English. My template for anything in Germany is going to be for delivered in German. Job adverts, for example, are going to have things like diversity statements that they have in Germany. They're going to have in the USA, they might have certain things for that country, or the UK, or Australia, or wherever else I'm working. So I can set this all up so it's really granular. And that's the same with interviews. I can have Poetry mirror our processes, our stages, and I can add in additional context and notes and things like that. Okay, so I'm a recruiter. Typically, I'm going to go into playbooks. I'm going to click Create Playbook. This is for a consultant job in the energy area. It is a downstream oil and gas consultant. It's based in London. I click Build All Playbook Assets. It's going to take approximately 20 seconds to deliver 17 essential items of talent intelligence, or research, as we call it. My kickoff meeting template, sourcing assets such as Boolean strings and outreach messaging, marketing content, including social media posts and job ads, and then operational materials like job descriptions and candidate interview questions. So let's take a look. Here's the main challenges and responsibilities in this role, relevant courses in this location, the strategic value of the role, the potential for this role to become automated, recommended skills and qualifications, salary range and benefits according to a variety of different sources, similar job titles, where to advertise, the characteristics of employers that hire for this type of job, the largest employers for this type of job. Notice that if I don't have a competitor card, I can click on the additional sign and that'll create one. Here's an example of one we've already got. It's Deloitte. In here, I can get a sense of Deloitte v Wipro. Why choose Wipro? Here's another example, Accenture. Okay, this is built out a little bit more with things like insights on that company in terms of their culture, their weaknesses, their strengths as an employer. And over on the left-hand side, Accenture versus Wipro across a variety of career-related factors, including recruiter talking points down at the bottom. So it gives you great competitive advantage in having an influential conversation. So here's the companies with the best career opportunities, job and industry insights, remote work trends, diversity trends. Notice it gives a summary, but I can click on detail and I get more information. Commutable locations, where there are people that can do this type of job, turnover and growth rates, and demand v supply. So now I've digested that quickly. For the recruiter that's taking on 2 new recs every day, it's deliberately meant to be bite-sized intelligence to help you to be able to have that good conversation at the kickoff meeting. So here's my kickoff meeting template. This is how I structure this within my company, my Boolean string, search Google. It's downstream oil and gas consultants and similar in and near London. Social media outreach messaging, conversation guide, that's an elevator pitch, objection handling responses, brand adverts if I need a carousel for a volume campaign, email copy if there's people in the CRM I want to reach out to, my company's EVP, recontextualized for the talent persona of a downstream oil and gas consultant, job advert, landing page copy, talent persona, social media post, job description, skills-based hiring tells me which jobs I've got an overlap in, the skills required, and then candidate interview questions. There are many different settings I can apply to make sure it's perfect for my needs. I can share it with the hiring manager. Stephen's going to cover this in a bit more detail on how it works. I can either share the full pack or individual assets, and then they can come in, or the hiring team, they can come in and add their comments, etc. So, Stephen, over to you. Let's take a look at some of the new features.
The new super duper exciting things that we've been working on for a while now. These have been in the works for probably the better part of a year. We have just allowed in 2026 to come up for air a little bit, maybe from product development, which has allowed us to really strategize around beyond the core offerings of what Poetry is, which is compliance and consistency, which is creation, is really kind of focusing on other elements such as collaboration and things like that as well, but also really just revisiting some of the things that we did really early on and making sure that they're optimized and usable for people moving forward, right? We did an okay job with Boolean builders. You won't mind me saying that on this call, but there was some things probably lacking, you know, in terms of how usable is that for everyday strategies beyond surface level. We had quite a good kind of colleague story, you know, functionality. But what we did was look at that and say, well, again, how usable are those things in everyday life, and how might that be applied to, you know, recruitment marketing teams or, you know, recruiters themselves if they do that. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Just give me a wee shout if you can see that, please, Adam, just so that I can. There we go.
Incidentally, just while Stephen's getting the screen up, I want to just say that a lot of what we do is based on our own expertise in the recruiting area. Everybody in our team has spent 15 years or more in the recruiting space. So we really understand it. but we certainly don't stop at that. We've done thousands of hours of research.
Yeah.
And we've done focus groups, and we've done customer feedback sessions, and we've done 2023 and 2024. We did many pilots with some really amazing companies that helped us out with that. A lot of this has come from the industry telling us that they want these things.
Yes, it's the nuances that you don't think of when you are building something straight out the bat, right? You want to get something straight out there, try and make it usable, make it useful and actionable. But actually, quite a lot of the companies that we are speaking to have very specific ways of doing things, or need things to just deeper dive slightly, and that's kind of what we've built here. Can you see this? Yes, hopefully.
No. Okay. Do I need to give you permission to share? Maybe that's the problem. Oh, sorry. Hang on a second. I need to add it to stage.
There we go. You need to add me. All right, cool.
Sorry.
So let's do it in order of what is on, or I think the rough order maybe of what it's on in the event description. So colleague stories. Basically what this is a space that you can essentially build questionnaires and templates. So if I was to go to my admin section, settings, templates, there's a Q&A here. So I have designed a short Q&A around basically this person's experience within improving product, describe the time they identify customer pain points. You could do that for anything. You could do it for new onboarding. You could do it for, congratulations for spending 10 years at this business. What it is just a way for colleagues to tell their story. That's hence the name. So once I've done and established those as an admin, they will be able to be utilized by recruitment marketing teams or recruiting teams. And you'll see that I've got myself up here, Stephen McGrath. I have been invited. That is an email that comes through to my email inbox, and I can complete that questionnaire. So I can upload a photo of myself if I want to do that. I can do responses as well. And I can go through and answer each one of these and submit them. So let's say improved products for reduced onboarding time by 20%, right? And we're just going to add some of these. Adam, I think when we have designed this, really it's trying to put. You can correct me if I'm wrong, right? But what we're trying to do is put the power in the colleague's hand, in your colleague's hand, in the person that's answering the question's hand. So it maybe doesn't feel. It might not have that super duper marketing polish to it, although we can add that at the end. But it is really about that authenticity of someone sharing the story.
Yeah, and it's about making it easy for you to collect colleague stories in one place alongside all of the other assets you need, instead of them being on a SharePoint somewhere that nobody will ever find, or in some other system. It's about bringing it all together and making it really easy for you to share the questionnaire with the colleague. Really easy for the colleague to just click the link, fill it in, press submit, and then once it's back in Poetry, be able to turn it into automatically a variety of different types of assets that you can use for your talent attraction. Yeah.
Now, I have answered these questions just for me, as in answering as if it's myself, right? Those I would not suggest are the best way to answer those, but you can see that I have now responded. So what that's done is that's given my Q&A, and that now allows me to have a look at here. I've got all of the information about my colleague, and I can now generate those. Now, we've gone for a few different ways, right? So there's LinkedIn posts, long form stories about that person. We can pull a specific quote from that questionnaire. We can even do emails if we're going to add them into an email as well. And what that will do is that will then generate, as per my standards and as per what I have said, all of the things that I have asked it to do, right? So there is long form, pull quotes, LinkedIn posts, is doing those specific things. I can share, copy, edit, delete any of those aspects as well. So I can really make sure that is tailored to exactly what we need and add that little bit of polish and finish that we might want to add. And also I can publicly publish that page as well. So if I want to put that on my careers site, or if I want to have it somewhere that is accessible, let's say like a colleague story database, or something like that, that's essentially an online resource, I could do that here as well. So really, really quick and really simple, and really allowing people to tell their experience and their story as well. Now, the next thing we're going to move on to is Boolean builders. You can build a quick and easy Boolean builder or Boolean string just in the same way that you always have been able to in poetry. So if I am doing this here for Glasgow, I can press inspire me. And what that'll do is that'll just build a basic string, right? That's a string to get you started. That allows you to have a really wide candidate pool. And then I can press save. And that's when the advanced Boolean comes into play. I've got all of my details up here on the left-hand side. I've got different search strategies. So if I want to look at skills, if I want to look at diversity sourcing, so for example, I want to look at Black women in tech, and I want to look at how those groups are and X-ray those groups for specific candidates and job title types. If I want to look at different platforms, different areas of those platforms, I can then one-click add roles and titles, one-click add locations with radiuses, and I can do a whole bunch of options here and really make that as basically as useful as possible for me to do multiple different search strategies across different areas. And what that takes us away from is that really casting the net wide, which is what our first aim with Boolean was always to do. And we've received some really good feedback about that as well, but really narrow that focus, right? Well, I want to look in skills. I want to look in precision. And I'm able to do the same thing that everybody loves about poetry, which is just search those people directly on the browsers of my choice or copy it and launch it. One really important thing here, which I pointed out to a customer today, the ability to add a custom site onto this. So if you have specific areas that you go and get your candidates, which is a little bit special, a little bit different, the ability to add that is absolutely there as well.
Truth Social. I want to find people on Truth Social.
There you go. Right. So that is
just let me add one quick thing on that. You might look at that and go, okay, so it's going to produce a number of different Boolean strings for the same search. And that's very deliberate because Google's got a 32 word limit in its search. So you can't do big, long strings. Otherwise, we would have consolidated it all into one.
And also just making them useful across different places as well, right? Like I think sometimes if you combine everything to one, that kind of ability to like really narrow your focus, that's brilliant if you know exactly what you're looking for. Quite a lot of time people don't know. And you need to just have that little bit of kind of benchmark, the kind of guardrail, so to speak, rather than benchmark, to be able to make sure that it's effective. Right. So image templates. I went into my admin menu, clicked on image templates, and I have arrived at this space here. I can create a new template. So that is the ability to name something, describe it, and then upload different backgrounds. So different backgrounds might be different things that you have set. So your logo is always in the top left, a person's always in the bottom right, and you've got a bit of a white space in the bottom, in the middle half of that. You'll see some of the examples that I have made here. So there's a picture of OpenAI Adam, as you can see, and there's a few other ones here as well. From this, you can assign them to specific teams. This is all drawn from your platform. So if I am working on a product role, for example, that will always be part of the product side. So if I select that, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a little second. And I can also then create different layouts as part of that. So a layout might look something like this. That's where you put placeholders in, where you structure the text, where you make sure that everything is exactly as you want it to be for your recruiters to create the perfect images and append them. Now, I need to hammer home at this point, this is only an admin view. Your recruiters are not expected to do any of this. So we are working with employer brand teams. We are working with people, that are responsible for that in their organization. And we'll come in and we'll create some of those templates for you so that when a recruiter comes to use those things, they would go to job adverts, for example. They would select a job advert that they have done. Let's just do a new one, actually. Let's do a new one. They would select a job advert that they have either they need to do a role for. They would press inspire me. It would select that or write that advert for them, and they'll be able to select the specific image as part of that. And really what we found here is that part where you put the placeholders in and it dynamically generates the text is something totally different than what is available on the market there, what recruiters are used to. So I've got my hiring campaign, I've got the fact that this is a product marketing manager, and I can view that. What that will do is in my text, in my font, in my desired spacing, I can generate an image based on the fact that that's that job role. And if I was to change this, right, let's do this. I can regenerate that, and it does it automatically for me. If I was to select a different job title and attach this, it does that automatically for me as well. So gone are the days where recruiters are footering around, messing up your templates, employer brand folks. What we do is we set those rules, set those guidelines, and absolutely make sure that they stick to them and that they're able to use them effectively in a way that you desire as well. Now, last but not least is collaboration. So if I create a playbook, let's say it's this customer service manager role in Glasgow, I can click share. I can select which assets I want to share that have been built with the hiring manager or anybody that's part of the recruitment lifecycle. So I'm going to share the emails, the job adverts, the posts, and the job description with my hiring manager. I am going to name that person Steve, and I'm going to add them. I can type in some messages here. So let's do customer service manager Glasgow, and that just gives it a nice little title. I can message that an option in that as well. Let's make that link available for 7 days, and I press share. A few things will happen at that point. That's not a real email address, but the hiring manager would get an email to say that they've been invited to view something. They would click on that link and they would view it. Can you still see my screen at this point, please, Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So 2 seconds, sorry. Just realized that I have just added something that has already been added before, which doesn't work. So give me 2 seconds, and I'll add someone brand new for us. So objections, job adverts, job description, continue. So let's do.
Just why Stephen's doing that is because he's added in a real email address into that, and what it means is that Poetry's trying to make, it thinks it's a user and it's trying to make that person log in, whereas your hiring managers will not be users and therefore they will not be asked to log in. So that's the...
Yeah. Essentially, once someone's added to the system, they're added as a collaborator. So their view is slightly different to what it is as someone that sees a link which they're able to click and it looks like this. Yeah. So here's the stuff that I've chosen to share with that person. That is a one-click link, active for 7 days. They don't have to log into a platform. There's no, hey, my hiring managers are not going to log into something that we don't need to do any of that. We've got a job advert here, and I slide out my collaboration panel. We need to focus more on time spent on the phone with customers, at least 3 hours per day. Right now, that's not going to be an ideal note, but again, this is all just for example. So I submit that. I'm now acting as a hiring manager. I'm going to say back to somebody, there's the criteria that I really want included in this. And what a recruiter is able to do at that point is they'll get a notification. You'll see my wee notification bell here is dinged, and I'm able to then collaborate on that. So we need to focus more on phone because we're at least 3 hours per day, things like that. And you'll see that I've included that comment and I can regenerate that content. Now, what that's going to do is that is going to immediately infuse that into the job advert. So if your hiring manager is in there saying, hey, by the way, we're recruiting for an engineer and you forgot to say that we are, we're doing stuff in Python, then that's the kind of thing that we want to make sure that that's infused into the job advert. You'll notice here, you will focus on spending at least 3 hours per day on the phone with customers, has now been infused into this job advert. And you can collaborate not only with hiring managers, other people in the hiring life cycle. You can add more notes at any point. You can make sure that's all submitted so that you're not doing it transactionally, The way that I put it to people is that you have an evergreen, ever-growing asset. So it allows you to take yourself away from these transactional recruitment items and brings you to stuff that you can then use collaboratively and consistently moving forward. I'm going to come back and join you now.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very much for taking us through all that. I love it. We're continuously focused on trying to make life more productive and successful for recruiters. If we can do something in 3 clicks instead of 4, or 5 clicks instead of 6, then we'll absolutely make it happen. In terms of the price for poetry, it's £100 or $120 per user per month. So it's £1,200 annually, $1,400 roughly dollars annually per recruiter. And typically it's saving a recruiter 2 hours a day and ensuring better consistency of go-to-market and better collaboration. So hope you like it. Stephen, thanks for taking the time to join me.
No problem.
Enjoy your time in Liverpool.
Come on, Scotland.
Come on, Scotland. See you all soon.
Yeah, thank you.